This podcast may contain offensive content. You have been warned.
And we're recording. Sweet. Okay, so we are on hiatus this week because Miles is in Japan. So we can all talk about that.
Spreading the light of Pelor to the far eastern nation of Japan.
And enjoying bubble tea whilst there.
Yes.
So we're going to take this time to sit down and talk about the new fifth edition.
The road so far.
Talk about the storyline. Talk about what you like, what you don't like. The characters, what's going on. Because I think last episode was we saw some great character development in between Vondel and Hawk. And
I think everybody really got a chance to shine.
Yeah, because it seems like the group is split. Let's start off with that. It seems that the group is split morally down the middle, with Tarek kind of being like the lone gunman, the wild card. Like, I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to go on this side.
Hawk doesn't have any moral problems.
Well, actually, so before we get into that, let's start off with everyone just introducing who they are, what you do, and what character you play. So let's start with James and go around the corner.
Hello, I'm James. I'm playing Pela, the halfling monk.
And I'm Evan. I'm playing Losian Moonshadow, the charming half-elf warlock.
This is Tom. I'm playing Dragonborn named Tarek, Bard of Destiny.
Maybe mention Tarek's previous incarnation. This isn't the first.
This isn't the first.
This is the second incarnation. The first incarnation started in 4th edition. He was a warlord at the time, and he kind of ran off from his group for reasons out of character.
Reasons. Let's just leave it at reasons.
Yeah, just leave it at
For
reasons.
And out of character. Out of character, and there were reasons. And
a new character showed up.
And then
around the same time.
Then 5th edition came around, and I felt like it was time to bring Tarek back with a fun little backstory.
Yeah, he picked up a lute, got really drunk for a while, learned how to play some songs.
As Dragonborn or Tank.
Now he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
Picked up some magic.
Got way more magic.
Forgot a fair bit of his warlord training, but that's okay.
No, he's getting some of it back. Next level, he's getting that inspiring leader feat.
There you go.
Nice.
Getting those temporary hit points before the battle.
Inspiration.
All right, Trevor?
I'm Trevor, and I'm playing Hawk, the half-orc full barbarian.
Boom. Half-orc full barb.
You never go full barbarian.
Hawk does.
Well, you do.
It was like watching a painter.
He never goes there, he's just always there.
Yeah.
That's my secret.
So that's the brief intro, and we're talking about, so who in the group do you think, we've got two sides kind of split down the line. Who do you think's the moral compass in this group right now?
Well, obviously, it's
absolutely it's Miles. It's our dwarven.
Well, he's a moral compass point in a way.
Yes.
He's
true.
He's the one kind of really.
What I like about this group actually is we don't really have any two characters that are totally on the same page. Honestly, like every one of them is there for their own reasons. It kind of has their own way of reacting to things. And it's starting to come to situations where we're starting to look at each other and be like, no, that's unacceptable. How can you behave this way? And I like that there should be arguments about that, and there should be a way that the group hammers out. I mean, Pela, if I can speak for Pela has basically come to the realization that Hawk, she tries to reason with him, right? She's trying to speak to him on a level he can understand. Speaking about glory, she understands something about his religious beliefs, but. On a practical level, he's a cannon that you point in a direction. And that's the best you can do. Yeah. And then you let it go and worry about what else is happening around you, and then come back and hopefully he didn't blow up too many things. And that has value in certain situations, as far as Pela is concerned. But yeah, she's not going to recommend he go to a dinner party with him anytime soon. If they got in that kind of situation, be like, Hawk, you stay outside and make sure nobody gets in.
Yes.
He can handle that kind
Hawk,
of
I need you to guard this bee. Make sure this bee...
I'm sure he'd manage to get into some kind of situation that would end with the palace falling down. But
yeah, well, as long as I don't have to make a stealth roll, we're all okay.
No, just be you, very visible, and deter other people from coming in here.
So, what does Losian think when he sees when he sees a moral conflict between group members of the guy who pretty much keeps everyone alive and the guy who pretty much keeps everyone alive by murdering everyone else.
Well, yeah, well...
Is it an opportunity? Is it...
Lothian doesn't like, random slaughter. He's not happy about that, but he's also very much about, like, individual choice. He doesn't want to, like, tell other people what to do. And also, I feel like he's kind of a back row guy. Like, he's a bit more detached from the action than a lot of the other characters. So he's, I feel like he has a bit more of a sense of detachment. He doesn't feel like it's his job to, like, guide Hawk in any particular direction. He might be like, oh, maybe, you don't need to kill those guys, and then he does anyway.
Well, I tried.
Well, there's some gold over there.
Let's put a pin in it. And,
I was thinking, like, Lothian, in his previous life before this, I think he was not really so much of a man of action. He was more of a con man. He kind of lived by his wits.
Man of subversion.
Yeah, and so I think he's kind of finding his way in, like, this more, like, heroic crowd, and trying to, like, figure out how he fits in. And I think he likes the new lifestyle.
All right, so coming from Derek's point of view, you've pretty much got, I think aside from Vondel, a group of people who have not been adventuring very much or at all. I mean, Palis just fresh out of the monastery. Lothian is like just discovered, like he's achieved this new power, and Hawk has been this tsunami that's been unleashed upon the world that no one knew about this guy until like the wave finally hit the coast.
What are you talking about? He's the hero of Greenest.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're building a statue of this guy.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm saying before he
Why
got
am I
to the
looking at
adventure.
the statue that looks like you owe me something?
They don't need to see how the sausage is made, how Hawk becomes the hero.
But behind that statue hid a dark secret. Behind the hero.
We buried a lot of bodies under that statue.
No, like dozens, guys, like nightly. Like, you have no idea.
Like we had to build catacombs under the statue.
There's an ossuary down there. In fact, we have a cleric there just to make sure those skeletons don't come back.
So let's ask the man himself.
Yeah.
Speaking of moral decisions, from your point of view, obviously Grumsh is pleased with you throwing yourself into battle.
Yes, very much so.
How does he feel about you killing people not in battle, though?
He's fine with it, I think. I still think those people were in battle. I mean, even
if someone's asleep, they're not in battle.
Really?
It's hard to fight someone in your sleep.
They're known as being helpless.
They're in the opposing army. They were trying to kill us just moments before.
I don't get the impression that Grumsh is really that discriminate.
Probably
Like an
not.
evil god of works. I don't think he's like
I suppose.
much
Yeah.
honorable.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's the way Hawk looks at it.
I can't speak for your orc experience, man. I've never been an orc. I've only ever been a halfling, so...
That's orc privilege.
But what about, Vondel didn't find the carrot didn't work, so he tried the stick. What did
that have any kind of...
alter
that
his
register?
actions? Yeah.
I don't know. Hawk is like you want to know who the compass of the group is? Hawk has a magnetic north. He's just pulled in that direction. He can't choose what happens next, really. He can a little bit, but he's like, in his world, the only thing that matters is who's the strongest. And like, any kind of weakness is weakness, right? Like, you have to go and kill people.
Hawk was holding back a bit, though, when he realized the heals weren't coming in. He was like, maybe I should just pull back a little bit.
Yeah, that's
I think that was more out of self-preservation than out of learning any kind of lesson.
There's a sort of animal intelligence. Like, he's hurt, he's going to go and try and heal himself up so he can go and kill more. Grumsh doesn't want you to die. You can't kill
unless you do it in a really awesome way.
Yeah.
I'm curious how much does Hawk feel like he needs to listen to Grumsh? Is he like fully, invested in like
is this guy fanatic?
Is it like is he like a follower of Grumsh, or just so much sort of like just kind of he has the
Grumsh is like in Hawk's mind less of a person, and it's just more of a presence, like this.
Right.
They're more like
urgent
guidelines
power and like this shouting and whispering. The voice rises up, and it's just like again, it's not intellectual.
Yeah.
He doesn't have he doesn't have an opinion about what Grumsh
not so much
wants him to do in life.
organized,
He
right.
just hears Grumsh call, and he has to go there.
Right.
It actually turns out just like an invisible sprite's just been guiding Hawk on this entire time. I'm totally Grumsh. Kill those fools for me. Okay.
I don't know.
So he feels that he doesn't have a choice?
Yeah, well, again, he doesn't feel about it. He just is in the moment. He doesn't have a choice, right? He's in a rage. He's lost everything. He's in a frenzy. He's just without control, right?
All right. So as we where we are in the story right now, it's kind of gone from starting off as level 1's killing kobolds, like as most D&D adventurers are going. Now it's kind of picked up the storyline a little bit. So where do you guys feel your characters are in perspective of going, oh, we were here just as some hired bodyguards, and now you're involved with this thing that you discover is like the cult of the dragon. They've attacked towns. You've got these really powerful half-dragons with some really powerful allies walking around. A couple of you have almost been killed a couple of times. Your cleric is constantly falling down. Your fight against Fulram Mondrath was really
tough.
Yeah, it was a really tough fight.
Tough. Fun.
Are you saying that you mistakenly charged her a full action for one of those spells? That
Oh no, I was worried I did. Because Miles was going, hey, that's a standard action spell, the mass cure wounds or the mass healing word.
Right.
I was like, oh crap, and I looked it up. Like, oh no, it's a
it's different from class to class, right?
no, she's cleric.
she's still a cleric, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a bonus action, so
Yeah.
I was flipping through. Like, I should really check to make sure that. Oh, okay, yeah, it was a bonus action.
Yeah. Yeah, she was tough.
Yeah.
She was super tough.
Rightly so.
She got healing
We
herself.
basically skipped through the secret entrance
Yeah.
to the back of the dungeon. So.
Yeah.
We,
So-
get right on.
Yeah, so how do your characters feel that you've kind of gone from just saving a town and now you've, whether by choice or by force, you're now actually involved in this?
Pela is fucking loving it. Are you kidding? This is what she trained for. The whole point of her skills is to go out, or she believes her particular sect within the monastery believes that they're supposed to go out into the world, find places where the powerful are oppressing the weak, and even the scales. That's her goal. They may still win, they may still prevail in the end, and that's fine. That's up to the universe. But a fight, in her eyes, should at least be an even fight, as close to even as possible. So when she is seeing people who are on the receiving end of just an ass-kicking by an army, she just cracks her knuckles and she's like, let's fucking get in there and even the scales. She's loving it, I think. She's exhilarated.
How's Lucian? Does he see this as a opportunity for money to finance his plans for far off Nigeria?
Well, it has been pretty profitable,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so...
You have made a lot of money,
You guys are
actually.
rolling in it right now.
Yeah.
That's because Hot keeps reminding everyone to pay.
He's
Have the bonus!
The collections department.
He's a terrible intellect, but his business acumen is fantastic.
Well, I feel like Lucian likes to kind of swindle the rich and powerful, but that doesn't really describe Greenus at this point. He doesn't really feel like he needs to try and cheat them, and they're paying him willingly anyway, so that's fine. He hasn't really... He's been, like I said, he's been in the back row, so he didn't even get hurt until the most recent session. That was the very first battle in which he lost any hit points, So that was the first time he was really even strained a little bit. So he's been kind of loving it, He's having a great time shooting up his crossbow, making illusions, and he's kind of gained a lot of power really quickly. So he probably figures he's on the right path. My patron really wants me to be doing this.
So are Lucian's dreams intensifying, do you think? Like every time we take a short rest, is he having acid trips?
No. Well, no, not like for a short rest. But I figure every time he gets new power, his patron, who's Robin Goodfellow, visits him in a dream, and he kind of revisits the Feywild, grove where he kind of communes with Robin Goodfellow, and gets a new present every time. He thinks that his patron is his dad, also.
Oh, sweet.
So he thinks that this is my long lost fairy dad, who's giving me making up for lost time, giving me lots of presents. And it's great.
Yeah.
And what about Tarek? Tarek's been through this type of stuff before. Is this another instance oh God, not again? Or is he digging the new adventure?
You know what? I think he was the backstory I wrote was that he thought he had a vision and he thought he had to leave his other group to find other adventure and find his own path, and it kind of didn't work out. He found the drink.
The adventure is alcoholism.
He found the drink, and he drank himself broke. And he had to find a way to make a little money, and pay for room and board. Started playing a little bard tales, and telling stories like you like. It was a little hobby he had, and somehow he actually turned it into a career. And here he is now. Now he's a bard. There's no real need for warlords in the world.
I don't know that. But.
Tarek,
War. What is
a man who managed to
good
prosper
for?
in a shifting economy.
Not with weapons.
Yeah, Tarek is adaptable.
Yeah.
That's true.
And what about Hawk? You've come from humble beginnings and savaged an entire clan of orcs by yourself, and many innocents along the way. How does he feel about all of a sudden being part of a bigger picture type of deal?
Well, it's kind of, at this point, it hasn't been very long. Like, we've really just, we were riding this caravan, we raced into battle, we had a night to sleep, and then we ran into this cave. He hasn't really thought about it. For him, he's sort of looking for this is him trying to earn some money, because he's got to go find the leader of the tribe who killed his family, right? So...
It's been at least a week, because it took us several days to travel out to the cave and then to get back.
Oh, that's right.
It took 3 days both ways.
And you had to wait for Leosin to heal.
Yeah, no, you've had to put up with this for a while now. Like, why do you put up with this? Why don't you just strike out on your own and just fucking slaughter things? Are we holding you back, Hawk? Or do you view the group as a good way to get into fights?
Yeah, it's kind of a good medium.
The glory of battle is here, right? So I'm definitely getting that, and also the money's good.
The money is good.
We've been invoicing a lot.
You should carry by the head.
That's right.
So Hawk views it as kind of like this business beneficial medium of violence and money.
Yeah, it's not not business in a way that's intellectual. It's just you need money to buy weapons.
Gold for food and weapons.
Yeah, exactly. So,
that food and weapons let me kill more things.
Well, food I can get
it's a
anywhere.
Beautiful cycle.
I can just get food anywhere. I don't have to kill. I don't have to buy food, but the weapons, it's good to get good
Hawk's
weapons.
proficient in survival, I think.
Yeah.
As a barbarian, you should.
Yeah.
So, one of the big things that seems to be predominant about Hawk is his maul, and it's one of those weapons that starting to take the things of like Tolkien and Sting or the Niebler in Game of Thrones. Do you actually envision your maul becoming this character on its own? People hear about the legend of Hawk and Hawk's Maul.
Oh, well,
does it have a name?
People might know. Hawk, for Hawk, it's just the killing stick.
It's part of your arm, right?
You can't kill. It's so much easier to kill people if you can just bash them in the head. Hawk. The whole thing about Hawk is sort of inspired by a character I played in Skyrim a long time ago. The early version of the PS3 on Skyrim, when the save file got too big, the whole game would crash. And every time you touch any object, then you'd crash the game. So I came up with this barbarian character who was just super aggressive because I didn't want him to be concerned with material goods, so I wouldn't touch anything. I didn't want to touch any books, so I was illiterate. And then I would just always choose the most aggressive dialogue option. It kind of got me into so many interesting situations. There's something about having a character where it's you can't do common sense, because common sense is it's the normal thing.
Yeah.
So it forces you into these really bizarre situations.
I like that you found this game-breaking glitch and decided to just keep playing anyway. That's bravery right there.
That's amazing. So let's talk about now. The experience pool of people we have in this group right now is pretty strong. I think, Trevor, you're a person with you've played Exalted, you've played Call of Cthulhu,
and D&D
3.5.
I think.
Oh, you've played 3. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So we have a pretty good base background to start picking apart of what we like about 5th and what we don't like about 5th and how it compares to 4th and 3.5. So let's just go around and just say one good thing you like about 5th and one bad thing you don't like one thing you don't like about 5th, and go around and we'll see what comes off of that.
All right. I think I'll just start with the obvious. Advantage and disadvantage is such a brilliant system. It's so simple. It takes away the need to keep track of all these multiple bonuses and penalties. How much does that add up to? And this plus, I forgot my helmet, and it just boils it down to roll 2 dice.
Yeah.
Take the better one, take the crappier one. And being able to inflict that on enemies as part of powers and giving that to other players it allows it to still be very versatile. I feel, despite being so simple. That's probably my favorite thing about it. Downside, honestly, I don't know. I don't really have any like big nags. I mean, coming from 4th was like the most time that we spent in D&D in the last few years. I do kind of miss the maps. I miss the kind of board game aspect of it. I like that we are using minis to kind of just in abstract represent where stuff is. And we are actually, some of our combat encounters, we have been quite as strict as we can, figuring whether you've got like a dozen kobolds all taking up like a space and a half. It's kind of hard to figure out where everything is. But and I like that I do like that plays into another strength, that I like that you can play it either way. You know, you can either keep the game completely in mind's eye theater and just figure out all the distances there, or you can put it down and play a tactile board. I'll come back. I'll think of something bad after I hear what
If you don't have anything, then you don't have anything. Right?
Yeah, well, the one thing I really like about it is that it's loose. It's really there's a lot of rules that aren't too specific. A lot of stuff feels like it's deliberately left up to interpretation, and I think that's a good thing for an RPG. I think it lets the players and the DM really make their own game without getting bogged down by the rules say you can or can't do that. And you know that I can be a bit argumentative about the rules. I apologize for times when I go overboard with that. I know I'm aware of that about myself. So one thing I appreciate is having a game that lets go of a lot of that. And I think it makes for more fun play to just be able to handwave more stuff. I think it frees up a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that 5e does really well. Much better than 4th, which was pretty specific with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and just for people out there, we are aware of the mistakes we make in the game afterwards. The one thing I'd say is at least we're consistent with the mistakes, so it doesn't change things too much. And again, speaking from the player's handbook, is one of the first things they say is, these are just suggestions. If you want to just change, because I remember when Hawk wanted to jump across the gorge, it's like, can he do that? It's like, I don't know, but do it anyways because it's awesome. Yeah. So,
and it turned out you definitely could do that.
I think it's good in any RPG, honestly, to especially as a DM or somebody who's trying to run the campaign, is to always go with the rule of cool.
Yeah.
You know, like even if the rules say that can't be done, if somebody suggests like, I'm going to attempt something awesome, give them the opportunity to succeed at least. Maybe they roll a 1 and they screw up and it's a funny story to tell later, but maybe they'll turn into something totally sweet.
Yeah, and I think 5e is built pretty well to accommodate that. The skills are pretty general. Advantage and disadvantage is really easy to apply or not. It's pretty easy to fit almost anything you would want to do. As long as it seems like physically possible in the world of the game, then you can pretty much just be like, okay, roll charisma or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. The one thing I feel it's missing is I really enjoyed the tactical aspect of 4th edition. I loved my teleporting tactical warlord. That board gaminess is something I really enjoyed, and you don't get that in 5e, but it's a different game.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the one thing I sort of miss.
Yeah, I guess because 4th was more about the tabletop than the storytelling, which, depending on what you do, you like one more than... It felt... I said this before, that 4E felt very close to World of Warcraft, where you had your instant abilities, your medium cooldowns, and your long.
Yeah. I believe they designed it that way on purpose too, to really mimic the MMO style of play. And I think it was a very good move to introduce a lot of new people to the game, and I think it succeeded.
And it was like Penny Arcade, where they showed it's really easy. Like, here's some character sheets, pick it up and go. Yeah. And I feel that 5e is done the same way. We're going to try and do a game with a lot of new people who've never played D&D before. We're going to say, here's the starter set. How well does this work? Because, like I said before, we've got some experience here, but I really want to see how applicable. And I think it's going to be almost similar, if not the exact same, as being able to pick it up, understand it, and then just jump right into whatever story you're telling. I think that's really smart on the designer's part, where it's something that no matter who you are, as long as you can do basic math and have an imagination and an open mind, you can play this game and have a good time with it. Trevor, I'm interested in yours because my experiences with you have been Exalted, and and Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested because to me, like you're like the newest member to the episode. I'm really excited to see what you're.
The thing, I like the simplicity of it, so I like that most things are one die roll, where you're just like, I try to do this, and then you either do it or don't. Like, one of the things about Exalted was it always like, I'm going to do that thing, okay, so it's these 3 dice plus this, okay, is anyone going to buff me? Okay, I've got a buff from him, so now I got 2 more dice from there, and then, wait, how many internal bonus do I have to that? Extra, it's like, you decide to do something, and then you have 10 minutes of figuring out whether or not, how many dice you're going to roll, then you roll it, then you count the dice, and then you have to, right, like, it's just so long. Whereas in this, you're kind of like, I hit him with my sword, and then you hit him with your sword or you don't.
Yeah.
I do kind of miss from 3.5 the use rope skill, like... I really enjoyed that.
Your fucking rope.
Well,
Charlie Bronson's always got rope in the movies.
No, there's something... I find that with the current character sheets, there's not as many hooks as there were in 2.5. So, like, I can give myself a bunch of things and use rope, which is a totally weird skill, or animal husbandry or something.
Yeah.
And then that's like a hook, because now I'm like trying to find a way to like solve everything with a rope, which is like a real fun thing to do. You know,
you did use rope in the last adventure.
it didn't go so well, but I didn't fall.
Well, it's because you're not trained in it.
That's exactly it.
You need to be proficient.
You're an amateur rope use.
Well, I mean, you can do that kind of things, right? I mean, the skills have largely been replaced by proficiency, right?
Yeah.
In things.
Yeah.
Like
You can have that as
these
part
tools
of...
are now.
Yeah, exactly.
perfect example.
Like any type of tool, like craftsman's tools or other like objects that you can use, instead of having like a craft skill, they just tell you whether you have proficiency in those things or you don't.
Yeah, but isn't the proficiency? I guess you can have a proficiency on like a particular thing. You can
Well, I mean, the skill roll is still going to fall under one of your stats.
Yeah,
right?
so, like,
it's
use
always
rope-
going to be.
But that's the thing. So that's
rope is
generally
rather specific.
Well, that's the thing. Like being able to give your character a couple early,
Yeah.
like in the Exalted campaign when I had Bo Zayla, my like super charismatic prince, I gave him specialties in avoiding blame, right, and rabble rousing, which are 2 like really specific things.
Yeah.
And having those 2 things really gave direction for that character.
Well, I think it's gray and open enough that we could say like if you like you say like I want to like start training rope, that anytime you use rope you just add your proficiency bonus to it. Like
yeah, that's that could be good.
That's pretty much what it is. Like and like I said, like the same thing. Miles has his proficiency bonus in stone cutting tools. Like there's no stone cutting.
Well, it's stone cutting.
Oh, stone cutting.
Yeah, that's what dwarves get. It's like judging the, quality of workmanship and whatnot.
But
But even the proficiency is just so flat. Like I can't have more proficiency in one thing,
Yeah.
So like it's the flatness of it just means.
well, I think that comes from your physical attributes though, because you add the proficiency and then whatever.
It stacks with your
Yeah.
trained skills, right?
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it.
So,
now,
like-
right?
like-
whatever you're trained in, you also get that extra.
So your
bump
use
on
rope would
top
be your
of.
proficiency plus your dex.
But there's no
But there's no
specialization.
No.
to
Yeah,
that
because
degree.
I get that on a number of skills, right? So again, it's kind of good. It gives me more broad directions to
So
go.
you're saying
but it doesn't
you
give me a
like
hook to
that
follow.
lack of granularity, or you kind of miss?
I miss having the hook, like
Yeah.
the story hook, because
Yeah.
like giving yourself some weird kind of idiosyncratic trait, like maybe you're the barbarian who's really good at playing the flute or something. You give yourself that weird thing that it comes up once in the game, but when it does, it's like that moment that makes your character a little.
I think feats might add a little bit more of that back in.
Yeah, I think
Like
so, too.
Tom was mentioning is the inspiring leader feat. That adds a character aspect of Tarek that harkens back to the previous character. I'm going to take the actor feat, so Losian will be like imitating people a lot more. So
Can be both good and bad.
Yeah, he's
illusions and plays.
He's going to be like he's going to start becoming like the shapeshifter.
Derek's doing the soundtrack.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm doing abstract modern paintings.
Vogel is not going to curate that.
Site-specific
song.
flood paintings.
Barristan Selmy.
Oh, great! Another
He's like
performance
a
artist.
painter that only used the color
His
red.
medium is ground and brain.
This about my mom.
Ooh, I love outsider art.
I don't get it. Is it avant-garde?
You guys noticed Hawk's work has been really melancholy lately.
Oh, yeah.
The way that blood's
Melancholy?
Yeah.
I'm pointing
Oh,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah. Oh,
Melan-
he's funning with us.
He's the more graphic Gallagher.
There's so many levels.
I really enjoyed his blue period, but where did he find all the blue people?
You know how hard it is to find people who bleed blue. Hawk knows.
He went through 20 royals before he realized that blue bloods was just a metaphor.
Let's just say it's a lot more difficult difficult now.
Hey, but the paintings appreciate and value after that.
Yeah, that's right.
Hawk doesn't even know what a meta is, let alone what it's for.
So let's get to Tom. Like,
Yeah.
about Fifth and what you like and what you don't like.
Wow, yeah, a lot of people said what I've really liked already. So yeah, I guess I'll encapsulate and say how elegant it is, and that encapsulates like how much I really love advantage disadvantage. I love how they kind of really streamline things and like got rid of a lot of the bureaucracy that was existing in 4E from like the pluses and minuses.
Yeah.
Saying here, disadvantage.
There's a lot of
And,
powers.
yeah,
to track
like-
of.
I was thinking recently how many times we said, "Did you remember to add combat advantage?"
Yeah.
when we played 4th edition.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every time
Yeah.
it applied. You never have to ask that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, you rolled 2 dice, obviously.
Actually, I do
Happened.
kind of miss flanking in that sense because I guess because 4E was more board gamey.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got that sense of like, and that's what Warlords and Tactics were really good for, right? Trying to get on opposite sides
Yeah.
of monsters and help bring them down as a team.
And yeah, that's the biggest thing I miss in 5e from 4e.
Do you feel
Is
do
the
you feel the
tabletop.
combat feels a little less tactical? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit less tactical. I mean, I'm a big fan of board gaming, especially tactical. And
Well, it's interesting you point that out because now that you mention it, I don't think we've had a lot of situations where we've really like teamed up on that many roles. Like,
essentially,
not in combat. We haven't like really.
I don't
had
think
any-
it's encouraged as much. It's
Yeah.
not built into the system the way it
That's-
was.
yeah.
because like
Yeah, kind of
the only people who get like the rogues in 4E, you
Yeah.
had to be flanking to get combat advantage to get your bonus damage.
Yeah.
And now it's you just have to have an ally adjacent to the target, so there's no more of that priority on sneaking around the other side.
And that even applies to range. So
Yeah.
as long as somebody else is fighting the guy you're shooting at, you've got your sneak attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot easier. There isn't as much priority put on positioning
Yeah.
or teamwork.
And it feels like 5e's kind of nestled that perfect medium in between the type of I don't think I've ever seen Exalted play with minis or a map.
No.
Whereas 4E is all about the minis and the map. And it seems that 5E is kind of because we've had situations where, granted, the maps couldn't print out on time and had problems with the tablet stuff, but in the end run, we didn't actually need the maps
No, it's not
for the first couple
necessary.
of encounters.
I mean,
I feel we need it for the dungeon, but for the outside stuff,
Yeah, or just in a hall. Like, we're just in a hall, it's pretty easy to kind of think about how big a hall is.
I find it only really matters if there's some kind of like significant terrain or like a bottleneck or something. That's where
There are multiple rooms.
multiple rooms. That's where it becomes important when you have choke points and stuff, right? Because then it limits who can see what target, what his line of sight now become, right? That's a lot harder, I think, to
which was
to
really
juggle in
big
your
in
head all
the
the time.
draft fight because going
It
down
made a huge
that
difference.
hallway.
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
huge.
Like,
Do you ever get that bottleneck?
Yeah.
I'm really proud that Pale actually got to use her nimbleness to cut off that
That was
route of
great.
escape.
Great tactics.
That pretty much saved you guys because I was like, I can't get by her. Like, even if I do hold person, I can't get by because she's now in a
Blocking the
mobile
space, yeah.
Right.
So it was like I have to run her and she's run out of hit points and she's running out of slots, so she's got to she books. She's like, I'm not dying for this.
Yeah.
Right.
So she has to just peel off. It's like,
Yeah.
great. Now I have to go through all these people. I now have to go through, and then unfortunately Tom came out. It's like, great, someone with a poor will save. Whole person, I'm at it.
Yeah, but I think we're all forgetting the most awesome part of that fight was when Tarek, Heart of Destiny, did a guitar solo slide
Down the ramp.
That's pretty sweet.
metal styles.
Into the poisonous mushroom.
Directly hit the
Jack
board.
seems like a pretty heavy metal bard, actually.
That's pretty metal,
Actually.
He's got the, Thunderwave.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
All you need is like some acid, for some face melting. And
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
This
yeah.
Bahamut signal right here.
Right on.
I'm doing
Metal horns. Or dragon horns, I guess.
Dragon horns,
Dragon
horns.
Dragon horns, baby.
Rock it on.
So actually, an interesting part that came up with, and when we had that fight, is you and I had some conflict over. I don't know if it's going to be kept in the. So we'll play it right now
Okay.
if it comes in. But we actually had a moment where we had conflict over what an illusion did, because it was simple breakdown in communication, but I think it was like getting towards the end of the day, and like we're both kind of just like, oh, this is like, let's like, you were kind of, I was kind of like, she has to survive. Like I was going based off of the directives in the book that she has. And I was trying to be like, all right, well, she has to do this and get away, whereas you're trying to put up the wall of thorns.
Yeah, well, I think I didn't make it. I think I blame myself for not making it clear that what I was envisioning was an apparently impassable barrier, right? Something that you wouldn't look at and think the fastest way to get on the other side of that is to run into it.
Yeah.
But clearly you didn't interpret it that way. And it's my job to put that image in your head when I'm casting an illusion.
Yeah, because I saw it as like the passage to India, like the giant bramble bush, like a type of thing.
This is gonna hurt, but I can do it.
Like,
push hard.
Like she had 6 hit points left. She's like, well, if she's going to take 5 hit points worth of damage, she's going to go through that thing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see that comment. Like we actually resolved it pretty quickly, pretty fairly. And do you feel that comes from our experience as game players, the amount of RPG experience you have, or do you feel that it comes from like the vagueness of what the minor illusion can do? Like, where do you?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the illusions are pretty general, and that was silent image, that spell. But I don't think that was the way that resolved was necessarily that inherent to the spell, though. I mean, if anything, the spell vagueness helped to create the conflict in a way. But I mean, again, I think it was my responsibility to make it clear what I was going for and say and describe it better.
Yeah.
So I guess if anything, it was probably more our like experience and just us not getting bogged down too much.
Well, I think part of it is that you succeeded on the spell, right? I mean, she did not beat the.
She didn't have a chance.
Yeah, illusions are tricky in that this is an example of like the 5th edition like interpretiveness or the vagueness. This is, I think, the farthest degree of that, where it's a lot up to, and I think that's also why I was a bit touchy about it, because I felt like in the time I was feeling like you were using out of character knowledge to defeat the spell, and if that's going to happen, then it's a big problem for my character choice, right? I don't actually think that you were doing that, like I said, but the way the illusions work, the image is apparently perfect until somebody looks at it closely, which would be an investigation action. So it kind of takes an action to look at it closely, or if they if something interacts with it physically, if they touch it or somebody else touches it. That's part of the reason why I opted for a wall of thorns, not say just like a wall of rock, because it discourages that physical interaction. You want something that somebody doesn't want to touch, right? Because if
I wouldn't want to run face first into a solid wall of stone.
No, but you might say, put your hand against it, and suddenly you're like, oh shit, that's not really there. There's a lot of interpretation. Does the villain there believe that there might be an illusion? Is it something that they would interact with anyway? Is it something that they are inclined to investigate? There's a lot of questions there that aren't answered by the rules at all. That are really just up to the DM.
I think what you're saying, Counselor, is that the mens rea did not exist.
I think any experienced spellcaster in a world such as this is always going to have the possibility in their head this could be just an illusion.
Yeah, but there's also equally a possibility that that's a real dragon.
True. That I actually summoned physical thorns out of the ground.
Well,
it could be either.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I think that's actually one of the spells. Summon barrier blade, summon sword wall, and I think there's summon thorn wall.
Oh right, yeah. So you were probably thinking of that actual spell, which it wasn't what I was trying to describe.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Well, I was still thinking kind of like a hedgerow, you can't hop over it, but there's kind of like a Brer Rabbit, you can dodge through it and stuff like that. And that's where I was going. This lady has to run.
I get it.
Yeah,
I didn't pick that up at the time. That we were just seeing it differently.
Yeah, and now that you've fought, there's one of the main challenges in the dungeon. What do you? I just throw it out to the open floor. What are you expecting now? From what you've seen, you've taken down one of the 3 threats that you know of. What are you expecting to come further down? Is it going to get harder for you? Is it going to get easier for you?
I'm guessing
Harder.
probably some kobolds, maybe.
Drakes.
I think it'll get a lot easier.
Drakes.
I think it's just smooth sailing.
It's smooth sailing from here on in,
Yeah.
There's
Probably.
no way Cyan Wrath has also
I mean, we
leveled
keep
up.
getting more powerful, so probably our
the rest of the
enemies
world
are
must
gonna
be
stay
staying
the same
static, right? It has to be staying the same. How could they be leveling up?
level. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. They're not killing kobolds.
No, Tarek is definitely going to get the adventure he's been looking for again. So.
Is Hawk looking forward to a rematch of with Cyan Wrath?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be good.
Now,
Because I was so ready. I was so ready for that, and then I was just knocked down.
Yeah, he took you apart.
Just because of my initiative roll.
yeah, that's true. So-
Because he was a better fighter than you.
Yeah, but you know.
Let's not ignore that
I've
fact.
leveled up since then.
You have learned a lot of tricks since then. That's true. Yeah.
So let's play a what if scenario. If it comes down to you versus Cyan Wrath, and you've got your group of adventurers behind you, and it's just him. Do you do the one-on-one fight and you try and take him straight up, or do you like just do the dogpile? Like, all right, everyone jump on the murder guy.
Yeah, this would be sort of like a... This is one of those moments where this is where the frenzy rage would happen, and it would be legitimate. Like, he would just become enraged and fly at him without thinking.
But would you want that to be like if your friends jumped in with does Hawk have a sense of honor where he's like where he goes, no, this is just between this like.
I think he's saying Hawk would not even notice if other people
That's
joined
the
in the
thing.
fight.
I would just see as soon as I'd see him, I would not worry like, oh, this is going to be a one-on-one fight for the honor. But it'd be like, I'm going to run through that person.
So let's toss that to the rest of the group, and
Brains are coming out of him.
we'll need someone to answer for Miles, or you can answer collectively for Miles. Would the group help out? Like, they see, oh, this is the guy who.
You know, it's funny. I had this idea because I picked up the spell Phantasmal Force, which lets you make a mental illusion for a specific character. It's a lot more convincing and it can deal a little damage. It occurred to me, I could like make an illusory duelist to like face off against Cyan Wrath. You know, maybe like pretend like I'm conjuring some like Dragonborn paladin or something, who might decide to focus on while we like clean up his minions. I don't think Hawk is really gonna like go for that and leave Cyan Wrath to fight some illusory opponent while we like fight everyone else. I guess that's probably not gonna work out.
You never know.
Well, what about Kayla? Because do you think that's going to be an even fight? Do you think Hawk's going to be?
Obviously not from what she's seen. Hell no. Pela would instantly have Hawk's back. She'd probably ride him into battle like a human backpack.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Yeah.
That's
Pela sees a lot of potential, actually, for the two of them together to wreak a lot of havoc.
Oh, yeah.
She just thinks he needs to be channeled a little better. He's too indiscriminate right
Just
now.
flow the lava into the benefit channel. Not
Yeah. Hawk is obviously a very talented warrior, and Pela respects that as a student of the martial arts. But he has absolutely no self-control.
Hawk
And
has
someone
a lot
without self-control can be easily defeated.
Hawk has a lot of respect for Pela, too, because he's at first just this tiny little thing.
I'm like a fraction the size of him.
But you
For
fight
the
like
record, how tall is Hawk?
7 feet, I think. 7 feet 2.
7 foot.
I mean, a
Pela
little
is
bit
like
taller than Orsha's supposed to be.
Pela is like 3'8", so like really big for a halfling,
literally
but like
a half size.
maybe the size of a small dwarf. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that the fact that the two of them together are kind of the frontline fighters.
Yeah.
There is a bit of like mutual respect there.
Yeah.
She definitely doesn't frown on him the way Vondel does, but she thinks he's wasteful. You know, in that way.
Not as efficient with his skills.
Yeah.
His murdering skills. That guy burns a lot of gas in the murder car.
But in terms of the rest of this dungeon, Pela was serious. She wants to try and liberate these kobolds. Like, they're an oppressed race who are under the yoke of these fucking cultists. They're just as much victims as the people they're attacking.
So how do you think she's going to go? Do you think she's going to try the diplomacy report? Should I talk?
Well, see, that's the problem, because
or do you have to whip out the nunchucks?
Pela would have to actually convince the talkers in the group, Tarek and Losian, that this is actually what they should do. Because if she tries to give like an inspiring speech, it's not going to go well. Pela doesn't. She's not bad at charisma. She's got a nice even 0.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be able to count on the dice to like let me rally an army of kobolds against their masters. No. You need somebody who can actually give the talk. So, maybe she'll have to have an intellectual argument, maybe pose some koans or riddles and try to teach some people to lean in that direction, but she's definitely going to try to pursue it.
What about Tarek? What do you so far you've had one glorious moment sliding down the and then
He's done more than that. He's blown up shitloads of people with some crazy
yeah.
Derek is
And
not
he also
exactly
jumped off that
a
building at one time.
rear fighter either. I should
Yeah,
point out.
Thunderwave has been
Yeah.
pretty
Really
impressive.
on
been
point.
liquefying kobolds since the start.
Yeah,
of
we
the
can find
adventure.
kobolds, and Tarek, as we found out, Tarek has a bit of a racist streak in him. He's a little bit racist, guys.
Is this against the dragon?
The half dragon,
breeds?
yeah, the half breed.
Wow.
He just called him a dirty half breed.
Man,
Oh, man.
Derek.
Just so you know, you've got a lot of half-breed other
Yeah,
races
it's
in your
true.
group. Yeah, kind of have to check that
He
one
doesn't
out.
mind those guys. It's just
half dragons.
Half dragons.
So you're more racist against the dragon than the half.
I think it's just that he's squicked out by the idea because dragons should be laid from eggs, damn it.
Yeah.
The way nature intended.
Yeah.
A live birth
Slithering
dragon.
over bloody
Oh,
Yeah.
Blood and fuel.
I think that's the root of it.
So, do half dragons have to be born by a human woman
No, well, it's not always human. It's not always human. Like you
or whatever?
yeah, it's just like it's.
But
they
I guess
like,
I
Well,
mean, like-
he's asking if the genders are flipped. Are they still half dragons?
Yeah. What if the dragon is female? Because surely a female dragon would lay an egg, right?
Just imagine if you were like, you gave birth by egg.
Maybe
And you
he's-
saw another animal where like the baby just crawled out of the mother.
That would be kind of horrifying.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh my
good.
god, what is that?
that's terrible.
You
like
see
got
the
a
root
parasite.
of my... You see the root of my racism. Fear,
Where's your
guys.
package?
The root of racism is fear.
in a little
World
package.
peace. Let's go.
Whoa, you carry that thing around for 9 months.
Inside you. It feeds off your blood.
Why don't you just drop it on the floor and let the male fertilize it afterwards?
It's so
What's
easy.
wrong with you?
just squirt it everywhere as it goes? Someone will hit.
I don't get
It only takes one.
Exactly.
Well, I guess we got the
See
adult
Tarek's
content, right?
dilemma. But no, yeah, Tarek's really down with this adventure, right? I mean, he's he went through that.
Does he feel like the
period.
old glory days coming back? Like,
Yeah.
You know what? I kind of
is that the source of his obsession
Yeah.
of always bringing up
I've-
old stories?
I've envisioned him as like I put in like a little bit of the backstory where when he left the original campaign back in 4E, he tried to find his own path, his own way, but like I said, it didn't work out too well. And he fell on hard times. And so now that 5E's coming around and he's adventuring again, yeah, he's trying to recapture those old glory days. And like he's like these days, Tarek is a little bit more obsessed with maybe even making up for lost time. And being like, yeah, I still got some time to fit in some great adventures and tell these great stories. And now that he's a bard as well, it really fills into that idea of like just making more adventures and making more memories so that he has more stories to tell.
So as a with the letter grade thing, how does your old adventuring group compare to your new adventuring group? How would you grade the two?
We're lower level at this point. So,
Yeah.
compared to one character.
Yeah. I mean, well, he was with those guys for a while, I guess. What was it, like 5 levels? I think
What
I think it was around level 5.
What was it you guys did? It was, or that we did, was keep on the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thunderspire
Yeah.
Labyrinth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the-
I came in after you guys like raided a kobold camp or something. Because like out of character, you guys needed a warlord. In character, like I had just left my clan and was out adventuring on my own to find my path, or the path that Bahamut had laid out for me,
Right.
and came across you guys like trying to escape and walking along the path, and you got attacked, and I said like, well, that's not cool. So I attacked those guys.
So when you compare the two, you've almost got a very similar. I think the only difference is you've got a dedicated healer in this new group. But again, like how do you
Didn't
rank?
seem so dedicated to me.
Wah, wah.
Hey, he explained clearly.
Yeah.
He's
what
very clear
happened.
about why he's not doing that.
And he stuck to his guns, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Actually,
like it.
yeah,
I
we
respect that.
should state that for the
Fondo is a
record.
dwarf of conviction.
We
Yeah.
should state that for the record. That was a very cool role playing moment, like character moment
Yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
Miles'
Even
character.
when you got down, even like
Yeah.
when you're like, oh, I'm at 0 hit points.
It was
No,
like-
wait, I have my skill that
Yeah.
lets me have the one.
And it was
hit point.
dangerous for the group. Like, that was a fight that we
Yeah.
needed some muscle
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So I,
Yeah,
thought
absolutely.
I thought it was cool of Miles to like stick to his
Like
guns
his
in that
principles
way.
were really tested. And
Yeah, I
he
think
stuck to
he
his principles.
tossed 3 hit points at me at the very end
That
of
was
the
because
battle.
he had them left over. For
Just like he was like, "Wow, I have to heal him, but this is the minimum I can heal him."
Yeah,
That's exactly.
That's probably like affects everybody. Yeah.
And that dwarf has a salty history. It takes a grudge.
I like a little inter party conflict is always good. I think.
And I mean the fact that our arguing after the first encounter
distracted
distracted us
and
led to us getting surprised by the boss.
That was a great.
I mean, that was another fantastic moment.
I was so worried I was going to wipe you guys out because, she just has to concentrate on that spell and push it forward.
That's tough.
Well, that garden spell, the garden.
Yeah, that spell's horrible.
Spirit Guardians, because essentially it's anytime you enter that zone, you have to do that check again. And if you start your turn, you do that check again. So if she walks forward towards you and puts you in it, you have to do that.
That's
check
why
again.
I got behind her as soon as I fucking could.
Yeah,
It was very bad for Hawk.
because it's they're all kind of in the corner. I just got to push people out and just nudge them in there and just find the right range. And
Man,
That's a
I
good
love
plan.
that one hit point. The die, you
Oh,
don't die,
yeah.
you just go down to 1 hit point. I love that.
yeah, I was like,
Pure barbarian, man.
Miles put the group in a lot of jeopardy. Just he's like, oh, he's down, and I don't think he's going to heal.
It's like Tarek blew all his spells, guys.
But still, I want to hear a letter grade of old group versus new group.
Old group versus new group. Wow.
You're not going to dodge away.
What was the old group's grade?
What was the old group's grade? Old group's grade was, I think, definitely a B+. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I thought we were friends.
I was expecting a triple plus.
Well, we did take his stuff after we left.
So you're not using.
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
Well, out of character.
Bahamut told me all that.
Actually, no. I think it was just Lenny. I think it was just me who stole all your stuff. Like, oh, it's gone.
Man, you roll with a
Got it in the
rope, you
bag.
know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't know. No, B plus.
Right.
Yeah,
New group?
he got
Fair
the name
enough.
of the group out there. So as for the new group, he's digging it. I think his judgment is kind of clouded by the fact that he's just so glad to be adventuring again and have a good group. So I think he was at least the same grade so far, maybe even higher, maybe even an A, small A,
Maybe an
B+.
A minus.
Maybe an A minus. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very close. A minus. Yeah.
Don't you just... I thought minuses were just there to, mess with students. Just to get under your skin.
He's not an A+ student, but he tried really hard.
But it's good. I mean, I am really enjoying this iteration of Tarek, though. Like I said, I'm really enjoying 5th edition overall. Absolutely.
Bards in particular are just so cool. You get to do so many.
Yeah, so many
Yeah.
things.
Strong.
Yeah,
You know what?
5th edition bards are
I think
really
that
good.
actually really plays well into my play style too, because I really do like to be versatile and do a lot of different things. And yeah, exactly. The bard lets me do that. Lets me be a bit of a healer. Lets me do a bit of a damage. Lets me be a bit of support. So it does all those things, and I think it really worked. Yeah, it really worked out really well.
I get to do so many things as Hawk. I get to swing my maul from the left, from the right.
Right? Sometimes up and down.
Sometimes you go
Yeah.
from an upswing.
Sometimes a spin and then swing.
Yeah. That was a pretty good move.
Often you leap.
The satisfying flunch of a exploding skull.
There's that one awkward time you try to put scoop brains back in the brain skull.
Everyone seemed freaked out about it.
Yeah, that was
Brains
messed
go
up.
out, brains can go back in again.
That was like
Whatever,
Dexter level
sorry.
shit. That was like season 5 Trinity Killer level.
All right, so let's wrap this up soon. Are there any things you're expecting to come out of this Cult of the Dragon thing? What's your opinion of it so far? What have you understood so far? Of who are these guys?
plot wise?
What are they doing?
Plot wise,
What are you anticipating?
It seems to me like they seem to be hoarding money for something, and the only reason you hoard that much money is to offer it up in some way. I think
there might be other reasons to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You might spend it, actually.
That is a reason, though.
Yeah.
It also ties into the fact. I mean, I make that connection because I've seen the dragon, and dragon. If you're going to get a dragon to do anything, I think a part of it is they love their hoards. They love their hoards of gold. So that's the way it's
really
thinking.
racist. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we can play with you anymore. You're kind of
Wow,
dragging it.
yeah.
Yeah, sure. We have a person who murders
Dragons
people
only
in
care
their
about money.
Yeah.
Generalize much?
Yeah.
Hello?
Well, look in this neighborhood. There's some dragons in this neighborhood.
Oh,
Hold on to
great.
your gold. They're gonna
The
take
cooking.
it.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Man, I didn't mean Tarek to get this race. I think Bonwood's going to have a little talk with Tarek.
Yeah.
Tarek, do you not understand? I am a dragon.
Mind blown.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you're not like a dragon like them.
Maybe, Tarek, you should get to talk to the other dragons before you judge them so harshly.
Wow.
Tarek looks in the mirror. I was the dragon all along.
We are born from eggs, just like you, Tarek.
And that's why dragon jokes aren't funny, guys.
Yeah.
It's never okay.
That's
Never okay.
The more you know.
Pela thinks these guys are a group of fanatics. Honestly, she thinks they're a true cult.
Yeah.
They worship this thing. She's seen the object of their worship, and it is awe-inspiring and terrifying. She can totally understand it, but if she can convince them to, throw off that fear and stop working for this thing that's basically, in her eyes, nothing more than a giant leather-winged bully. That's really what they... No offense, Tarek. I'm sure. I don't want to throw down more stereotypes here, but this particular dragon, I think we can all agree, is a giant asshole and needs to be punched in the face. So, she's going to try to do that.
Lucian?
I think in terms of the threat that this this cult represents, I feel like Lucian sees this as a tall glass of not my problem. There's gonna be weird cults around doing stuff. There's dragons, whatever. That's life.
Guys, I'm from the Feywild. This is paradise. Believe me.
He's not from the Feywild. He's been there. But he likes he wants the money, he hears that there's a treasure hoard at the end of this, and that sounds pretty enticing, and it's been pretty fun so far,
Pretty profitable.
tromping around these guys. Yeah, they're an interesting group. So it's a fun thing to be a part of. I don't think he feels that personally invested in stopping the cult per se, but he's having a good time.
How did Lucian feel when he went into the treasure room and realized, oh, this is pretty beefy sized room that was full of gold? And how does it feel he missed a big payoff just by that much?
Oh yeah, he's a little bummed about that, but easy come, easy go. There's going to be some treasure surely somewhere. And, he can only carry so much.
We did bring a couple wagons.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
How about Hawk?
Hawk thinks that the cult is a good practice. Easy targets to go after. Opportunity for some brain smashing and vengeance. Finally win that fight will be very satisfying for Hawk, I think.
Nice.
Getting the gold is good, but it's not really. He's just on the search for more glory and more victory, I think, and more blood.
All right, well, I think we'll call it there, so we'll hopefully... Oh, and Tarek, right, sorry. I thought I got Tarek already.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I started.
Never mind.
I started.
Wow, apologies.
Yeah. So that's it. We'll hopefully be back soon when Miles gets back from Japan and explore more of the Hoard of the Dragon Queen and the first part of the adventure, and the second book just came out. I'm not going to, unless you know the title, I don't want to spoil it because it kind of spoils what the...
Well, goodness, don't tell us that.
Yeah.
But spoilers.
But that's it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.